Hello everyone. I've been a lurker on forums like these for a while, but today I decided to share my situation and ask for advice. I'm 35 years old, my wife is 31, and we have two young boys, aged 3 and 1.5. We've been together for 14 years, married for 9. Things between us started to change about 6 months ago, and I'm at a point where I don't know what to do. To start, we haven't been intimate in half a year. There's no touching, no hugging, not even holding hands. At first, I thought maybe it was just the stress of having young kids or the challenges of building a house. But it's not just that. She avoids me. She seems irritated by me. It's like I'm a burden. I'm not the type of person to let things fester, so I brought it up. I asked her directly, "Why don't you talk to me anymore? Why do you avoid me? What's going on?" She didn't want to say anything at first, but eventually she opened up. She said she felt like she was doing everything herself, that I wasn't stepping up as a husband and a father, and that I wasn't enough for her. She said I don't make decisions and that she has to wear the pants in the house. She even said, maybe I'd be better off alone. Hearing that was tough. I tried to stay calm and told her I understood her frustrations. I told her I'd try harder. I work 8 to 9 hours a day, but after work, I take care of the kids. I feed them, bathe them, play with them, and put them to bed. I also wake up at night when they need something. Around the house, I do the dishes, groceries, and other tasks. I'll admit I'm not the most efficient cleaner, but I try. After all that, I like to relax in the evenings by watching a movie or playing video games. I'm not the type to constantly look for something to do, but I didn't think that made me a bad husband. I know her father is a super proactive guy who can't sit still, and maybe she was comparing me to him. I'm not ashamed of who I am, though. I'm a good husband and father, and I wanted to make our family work. So, after our conversation in December, I made an effort to do more. I started taking on extra groceries, extra housework, and made sure I wasn't just sitting around in the evenings. She seemed to like it, but nothing changed in her behavior toward me. We had another talk. This time, I asked her straight up, "Do you want to save this marriage?" She replied, "I don't know." That hurt, but I kept going. "Do you want to go to marriage counseling?" Again, she said, "I don't know." I told her, "It's not the time to not know. Our kids might end up with parents who live apart." Hearing that, she agreed to try counseling. We started seeing a therapist, and it was eye-opening. We discovered that we have different love languages. Mine is physical touch, and hers is acts of service. The therapist was shocked when she found out we hadn't been sleeping in the same room for 6 months. My wife said it was because she was sleeping with the kids, and there was no space for me. The therapist suggested buying a single bed to put next to the big one. I did that, but even then it felt like I was sleeping alone. She kept her distance. After a couple of sessions, I asked her how she felt about counseling. She said she didn't like sharing our private lives with a stranger. That was it. No effort, no interest. When I brought up intimacy, she said she didn't need it and had only been doing it because I wanted it. That made me feel horrible, like I'd been forcing her. We had been intimate twice this year, once on my birthday and once after a counseling session, and both times felt like a chore for her. I stopped asking. Then something happened that changed everything. One night, I noticed she tried calling her ex-boyfriend 4 times in a row at 10 p.m. I found out because we have an app that shows our call logs. I confronted her about it, and she lied, saying she didn't call him. So I showed her the app. She admitted it but claimed he had called her first, drunk, and she told him off. Then, feeling guilty, she called him back, but he didn't answer. This was around the time we stopped being intimate. I checked her messages on her laptop and found one she had sent to him, saying, "I'm going to keep calling until you pick up and talk to me like a normal person." She denied writing it until I showed her the message. She brushed it off like it was no big deal. That was a huge red flag for me. I started to wonder if she was cheating. So, I bought a voice-activated recorder and placed it in her car. I didn't feel good about it, but I needed to know the truth. 3 days after placing the recorder, I finally heard what I dreaded. She had a video call with her ex. I heard them laughing, joking, and flirting the way we used to years ago. They talked about intimate things, vacations, and even discussed a timeline for him to move back to our country so they could be together. She told him she wanted to visit him in July and gave him 2 years to return. She even said things like, "Make sure you last more than 3 seconds when I visit." It was everything I needed to confirm that she was emotionally and physically cheating. I confronted her after listening to the recording. I told her I knew everything. At first, she denied it, but when I mentioned specific things from the conversation, she had no choice but to admit it. She tried to downplay it, saying it was just talk and that they hadn't been physical. I didn't believe her. She lied about calling him, lied about messaging him, and lied about their relationship. Why would this be any different? I contacted an attorney and started preparing for a divorce. My lawyer advised me to play it cool and not let her know how much evidence I had. We planned everything carefully. The papers were ready by Easter, and I handed them to her right after the holiday. When I confronted her, she denied everything again. I showed her the evidence and told her to contact my lawyer. I then packed my things and moved out to my parents' house in the capital city. Her family was shocked. I recorded my conversation with them, where I asked if they thought I was a good husband and father. They agreed, and I made sure they couldn't be used as witnesses against me. Her parents and siblings initially supported me and were horrified by what she had done. They confronted her, and she eventually admitted to the affair, but still claimed it wasn't physical. In the weeks that followed, she started messaging me. She said she regretted everything, loved me, and wanted me back. She wrote, "I can't imagine my life without you. I'm sorry for everything I've done." But her actions didn't match her words. She never called or visited. She only sent messages and photos of the kids. Her family started pressuring me, saying I should forgive her for the sake of the kids. Her sister even blamed me, saying I was destroying the marriage by not giving her another chance. I stayed firm. I told her I couldn't forgive her. She had betrayed me and destroyed our family. Her messages continued, but they felt hollow. She said things like, "I ended it with him. I confessed everything to a priest and left it in God's hands." I asked her for the truth about their affair, but she refused to share any more details. She said, "I've told you enough. I won't talk about it anymore." Despite everything, she still wouldn't take full accountability. She kept deflecting, saying things like, "You were so passive, that's why I started talking to him." Hearing that disgusted me. I told her that her actions weren't just against me. They affected our kids too. She got defensive, saying I was being cruel for bringing the kids into it. But the truth was, her choices had already impacted them, whether she wanted to admit it or not. Our attorneys eventually worked out the divorce terms. She would keep the unfinished house and take over the mortgage. I would get the money I had invested in the house and a fair child support arrangement. We also agreed that she would drop the kids off at my place every other weekend, and I'd drive them back. I wanted more time with them, but in Poland, young children almost always stay with their mother. Even after the divorce papers were filed, she kept trying to win me back. She said she would do anything, move to the capital city, let me check her phone daily, cut ties with her ex permanently. But these promises came months after the betrayal, and I couldn't trust her anymore. Her words felt like damage control, not genuine remorse. I offered her a final chance on my terms. I told her she had to move to the capital city with the kids and start a new life with me. She refused, saying it wasn't practical. She said the kids were happy in the small town, where her family could help her, and moving to the city would be too expensive. That was the final nail in the coffin for me. If she wasn't willing to make sacrifices, there was nothing left to salvage. She continued to blame me, saying I was selfish for not considering how hard it would be for her and the kids to move. But I wasn't going to live in the same small town where her affair started, where her ex-boyfriend's family lived. I couldn't put myself in that position. Over time, her family's attitude shifted. Her mother started calling me narcissistic, and her sister accused me of trying to profit from the divorce. They said I was abandoning my kids, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I loved my boys more than anything, and I was doing everything I could to be there for them despite the circumstances. I started dating again, but it was complicated. I didn't tell the women I met about my divorce or kids right away because I didn't want to scare them off. But keeping that secret made it hard to build anything meaningful. I had a few short-term relationships, but nothing lasted. I couldn't give them the time and attention they deserved because my kids always came first. Months passed, and I slowly adjusted to my new reality. I was living with my parents in the capital city, working from home, and spending as much time with my kids as I could. I drove to the small town during the week to see them and brought them back to the city every other weekend. Those weekends with them were the best part of my life, but saying goodbye at the end of each visit was heartbreaking. The divorce finalized, and we stuck to the terms we had agreed on. She kept the house, but I made sure there was a clause preventing her from selling it without splitting the proceeds with me until the kids were grown. She wasn't happy about it, but I didn't care. I wasn't going to let her make decisions that could negatively impact our children without any accountability. She still sent me messages occasionally, saying she loved me and regretted everything. She claimed she would remain single and focus on raising our boys, but I didn't believe her. Her actions didn't match her words. When we spoke in person, she continued to downplay what had happened. She said I was torturing myself by digging into the details of her affair. She refused to admit the full extent of what she had done, even when confronted with evidence. One day, she asked me directly, "Do you want to forgive me and rebuild our family, or is this over for good?" I told her it was over. I couldn't forgive her, not after everything. I explained that I had given her a chance to move to the city with me and start fresh, but she refused. She had made her choice, and now I was making mine. She tried to guilt me, saying I was prioritizing my ego over the kids' happiness. But I stood my ground. I told her, a family isn't a building or a convenient arrangement. It's trust, love, and commitment. You broke all of that. She didn't have a response. Now, I'm focusing on my kids and trying to move on with my life. I've accepted that I'll never have full custody, but I'm determined to be the best father I can be. I'll keep fighting for my time with them and make sure they know they're loved. As for her, I don't care what she does anymore. She made her bed, and now she has to lie in it. This journey has been long and painful, but I'm learning to live with it. I'm not the same person I was before all of this, and I never will be. But I'm still standing, and that counts for something. One day, I hope to find someone who values me and the family I'm trying to rebuild. Until then, I'll keep putting one foot in front of the other. This chapter of my life is closed, and it's time to start a new one.